Hi, my name's Maddie. I am part of the communications and fundraising team at Upbeat Communities, and we're a charity working to welcome refugees and asylum seekers in Derby and the surrounding areas. I chose to do an althaus apprenticeship because I felt like there were gaps in my knowledge around digital marketing, and I found it quite hard to access any specific training within the charity sector. I felt like I needed a little bit extra, and I also felt like signing up to be part of an apprenticeship would keep me accountable. I would appreciate the structure of having time in my week dedicated to learning. The althaus team were really friendly and made the onboarding process really straightforward. I felt very well informed and taken care of. The training was delivered in a really helpful way. I enjoyed that it was remote, so I got to log on at home and take part in the sessions that were really interactive. It was very helpful to meet other people in similar roles, but in different sectors, particularly as I mentioned, I hadn't found any training suitable within the charity sector, so it was really nice to connect with other people working in other sectors, but actually doing very similar roles. There's a lot of overlap between fundraising and marketing, so it was great to learn from them. My favourite thing about the apprenticeship was that all the way through I could apply what I was learning. Areas that felt really mysterious to me, or maybe I'd read or heard a lot of jargon around. There is a lot of that in digital marketing, but having it really clearly explained and then being able to apply that within my workplace and in my day-to-day job was really helpful. The most challenging part of the apprenticeship was balancing it alongside my day job. I had been working in my role at Upbeat Communities for around 3 years when I started, so I already had quite a lot to juggle, and adding in the extra work, which I knew would be worth it, was quite challenging. I would say the main skills that I learned from the apprenticeship were around search engine optimization, so SEO, and making sure the charity was increasing its reach and being well known in online spaces. As a charity, we've grown an enormous amount in the last 3 to 5 years, and it's really important that we keep up with that and reach new audiences online to share our work. I think attitudes towards apprenticeships are really changing. I think that's a really positive thing. Apprenticeships are not for just a certain age group or for a certain level of education. You can do an apprenticeship at any time in your life and career, and I think that's great. I found it really helpful to do after I'd already previously studied at university, a few years on into my career, to actually hone some really niche skills that I never learned when I was at university, and be able to apply them on the job. I think apprenticeships are a great route to go down for charities who may not have the funding to be able to source forms of training for their staff, or maybe just have some really promising talent on the team but without the internal time or resources to upskill them. An apprenticeship is a really great way to do that. Apprenticeships provide great transferable skills, even if the learner then moves on to another sector, or even if the business or charity in question has a really niche area. The great thing about althaus apprenticeships is they teach you in a way that applies to all sorts of different areas and sectors, and actually they also empower the individual as well to kind of do their own learning to follow on from that, and the trainers are readily available for any questions. Since finishing the apprenticeship, I've been able to step into a leadership role in the charity, which has been really rewarding, especially to have somebody on my team who I can pass on the knowledge that I learned in the apprenticeship to, and equip them as they manage a lot of our digital marketing. The advice I would give to someone considering an apprenticeship is to go for it. If it's an area that you are passionate about, you feel that is missing from your skill set, but there is a provider like althaus who can train you really well and equip you in that, then I'd recommend it. I guess one piece of advice would be to make sure that you carve out that time in your week and protect it, because it can easily become crowded out.